Not everyone is born with a silver spoon in their mouth. Some work really hard, legally, to achieve that status, while the remaining others choose some illegal methods to achieve the luxurious and filthy rich lifestyle. In this episode, we will be talking about those criminals who came from a very normal or even poor background, but with their wicked ways of working and their determination to be on top, by hook or crook, they achieved it all. Starting with Richard Ramirez, a serial killer, burglar, child molester, and serial rapist. Though Richard is famous for his cruel crimes, it is his net worth that catches the attention of people. But before discussing that, let's take a sneak peek at his childhood and murder spree. Being born to immigrant parents, Richards didn't have a really good childhood. From facing abuse by his father to having early exposure to drugs and alcohol, it is also believed that he had a financially rough childhood, as his father was an alcoholic. Richard's fantasy to commit the crimes is linked to his older cousin, Miguel, or Mike Ramirez, who himself was a serial killer and rapist. It is said that Mike used to show Richard Polaroids of the woman he tortured and killed. After years of bonding with Mike, Richard finally took the same path as him. It was in 1984, San Francisco, where he tortured and murdered someone, officially. As if it was just starting, Richard soon began a murder spree, killing over 18 women and girls. But the most traumatizing truth of his death spree was that he was making a good living out of it, at least enough to cover the expenses of some expensive drugs he took. It is believed that he had a net worth of somewhere between 1 million USD to 5 million USD. The main source of his income being theft and burglary he used to commit before killing his target. Griselda Blanco, also known as the Black Widow, the Godmother, or La Madrina in Spanish, and the Cocaine Queen. Griselda was a Colombian drug lady and queenpin of the Medellin cartel, and in the Miami-based cocaine drug trade and underworld during the 1970s through to the early 2000s. Griselda was allegedly responsible for the murders of over 200 people and all three of her husbands, earning her the title of Black Widow. She has been immortalized in documentaries and films and is considered to be one of the key figures who helped turn the Colombian cocaine trade into a global business, generating billions in revenue before she was assassinated in 2012 at the age of 69. Griselda was born in Cartagena on the country's north coast. It is not clear why, but she and her mother moved to Medellin when she was just 3. Having a financially rough childhood, Griselda entered the crime world before she even took admission to middle school. According to her former lover, she allegedly kidnapped a kid at the age of 11 for some ransom and eventually shot one near her neighborhood. By the age of 13, she became a pickpocket. To escape the sexual assaults of her mother's boyfriend at the age of 19, she left home and resorted to looting in Medellin until the age of 20. Even though she grew up in poverty and faced extremely harsh conditions, she died a billionaire with a net worth of over 2.26 billion US dollars. She became the godmother of cocaine and is listed among the 10 richest drug lords of all time. Starting from a sizable cocaine business in Queens, New York, to getting involved to drug-related violence, known as the Miami Drug War or the Cocaine Cowboy Wars, she truly became an example of rags to riches. John Gotti. John Joseph Gotti Jr. was a violent, ruthless mobster who was also the boss of America's most powerful crime syndicate. Being the 5th child out of 13 children, he grew up in poverty along with his 5 brothers who took the path of crime. His father was a day laborer and had an irregular income. As an adult, John realized that his father was not able to provide for his family, and as a result, he got involved with street gangs before he turned 12. Though he always had the dream of making his career in crime, he still tried to live a crime-free life for a while. He attempted to work legitimately as a presser in a coat factory and as an assistant truck driver, but that was before he was again jailed twice. After this, he focused on only illegal dealings and joined the Gambino family, making him the most powerful and fearless godfather. As the people described him, he used to dress up as he came straight out of the books all the time. With his expensive suits, lavish parties, and illegal dealings, he quickly became something of a media celebrity, and the press dubbed him the Dapper Don. Following a string of highly publicized acquittals, helped in large part by witness intimidation and jury tampering, Gotti also earned the Teflon Don nickname. He was a notorious mobster, as described by the FBI. Gotti was violent and ruthless, making hay through gambling, loan sharking, and drug trafficking. He is suspected of using witness intimidation and jury tampering to avoid justice for years. In the end, his years of hard work and dedication made him a millionaire. It is reported that he had an annual income of a whopping $500 million per year, making him earn the 9th position on the list of 20 richest criminals. Amado Carrillo Fuentes. Amado Carrillo Fuentes was a Mexican drug lord who became El Señor de los Cielos, or the Lord of the Skies, after assassinating his boss, Rafael Aguilar Guajardo. Having 11 siblings and being born into a poor family, Amado took the path of crime quite early in his life, with the help of his uncle Ernesto Fonseca Carrillo, also known as Don Neto, the Guadalajara cartel leader. Amado got his start in the drug business under the tutelage of his uncle Ernesto, and later brought in his brothers, and eventually his son, Vicente Jose Carrillo Leiva. As described by People, Amado was shrewd and highly ambitious. He pioneered the idea of using private jets to fly cocaine across Mexico, revolutionizing his cartel. He was also known for laundering money via Colombia. But unlike many criminals, he offered his help to the government by halting drug trafficking in Mexico, thus helping out the Mexican economy. Even though he was making millions in this business, Amado wanted to remain nothing more than a businessman, not a criminal. It is reported that Amado had a net worth of 25 billion USD at the time of his death, and a mansion worth $4.5 million. Pablo Escobar. Pablo Emilio Escobar Gaviria, or better known as Pablo Escobar, was a Colombian criminal, narco-terrorist, founder and the sole leader of the Medellin cartel, and arguably the most powerful drug trafficker of all time. Known as the King of Cocaine, Pablo is still the wealthiest criminal in history, having a net worth of 30 billion US dollars at the time of his death, and his property and assets worth 70 billion as of 2022. Pablo grew up in a very poor family. His father was a small farmer and his mother was a teacher. He had no interest in studying whatsoever, but forged his high school diplomas to take admission to the college. His dream was to become a criminal lawyer, then a politician, and eventually president, but he had to give up because of lack of money. Starting from street frauds, he sold illegal cigarettes and fake lottery tickets, and as well as participated in motor vehicle theft. Ascending, he began to work for various drug smugglers, often kidnapping and holding the people for ransom. Going deep into the world of drug trafficking, it is believed that he led monthly shipments of 70 to 80 tons of cocaine into the US from Colombia by the end of 1976. As a result, he became one of the richest people in the world real quick. But as he rose to fame, he remained grounded. It is reported that Escobar spent millions developing some of Medellin's poorest neighborhoods. He helped build roads, power lines, and soccer fields. He was often called Robin Hood Paisa because of his charitable works. The luxury house of Pablo Escobar contained a colonial house, a sculpture park, and a complete zoo with various animals like elephants, exotic birds, hippopotamuses, etc., making his legacy unimaginable for a common person. These were the criminals who came from poor families but made a fortune from themselves. And with this, it's the end of today's video. Let us know which criminal was the most surprising for you in the comment section below. Also, make sure you have subscribed to our channel so as to not miss any exciting videos in the future. We will be back soon. Till then, take care.